Man, welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty podcast. Back at it again, doing what we do. Craft man, what the fuck is up?
Man, I've just been enjoying the hell out of watching football. Last weekend was great. It was a lot of scoring going on. 70-point game by the Dolphins. It was just a lot of damn points on the board, and your fantasy football leaders did great last week. Had a lot of big performances, so we back into the full swing of things this week.
A lot of points, a little bit different from the past weeks, no doubt about it. Our tech guy in the building, Swizzy, what up?
I fucking hate football, man. We fucking suck. Clemson fucking sucks. I mean, I can't catch a fucking break, man. Some bullshit.
Hey, that's what I was saying, man. My team sucked, and then not this past week. I had a good week gambling, but the last week, my coldest streak of gambling I've probably ever had. I'm talking about L after L after L. I was like, fuck football. But you know what? Fantasy football, Chris, what do we say about fantasy football? It's a fickle bitch.
It's a fickle bitch.
And the reason why I want to bring that up is because I had the second most points in our home league and took the L because I'm going against motherfuckers like Keenan Allen getting 20 targets. Goddamn. Shit pisses me off, man.
Hey, I had him on my team and lost, so it doesn't make you feel any better when you have a 40-something point performance and still fucking lose. That makes you feel even worse. It makes you feel like the rest of your team is absolute garbage when you can't win with something.
Well, how about having Devon A-Chain on your bench when you could have played him and you could have won, dude? It's just all around fuckery this week.
But you would have never. Just tell me the truth. Did it even cross your mind to start Devon A-Chain?
It actually did because of the way that my team is towards the bottom. Like in the home league, my bottom team is not really that good. I didn't have some favorable matchups.
Over who?
It was between him, Brian Robinson. I took out Connor because they were playing Dallas. I regret that. I won't ever do that again. But
yeah,
I mean, it gets rough. And then in the doo-doo league, I mean, I've had to start Jonathan fucking Mingo for the past 2 weeks because Christian Watson just doesn't want to fucking play. I mean, get your fucking leg right, dude. I need you out there. Mingo's trash.
What you call it? I want to say shout out. I know Akil Galani, he listens to our pod most of the time. Shout out to him. He was one of those 0.04 people in the world that had A-Chain in his lineup and still took the L, though. I was like, damn, I can't believe you had him in your lineup, man. I mean, 0.04 people playing fantasy had that dude in their lineups. Crazy.
I can't believe he played him because he clowned me for trading and drafting him.
Yeah, man. Talking about collusion and shit. That Amon-Ra.
He's the number 6 running back on the year. Now.
Already.
That shit is crazy.
Already.
So, tonight, me and the Craft Man, we just literally just said it. Just, sometimes we just can't get the waiver wires and stuff out there, but once a week you're going to get a good episode out. Last week, Cousin Ian hopped on and they talked about guys that you can buy low in the redraft, sell high in redraft, guys that you could help you win. We've got a few things for y'all tonight. We're going to talk about a few players. Should we push the panic button on some of these guys? If you want to trade these guys, what can you get for them? Some of that talk. Even got a Dynasty trade that went down today. We're going to break that down a little bit too. A little bit of some collusion talk up in here with the Craft Man involved. So
shit had me fuming. My fucking my face was so goddamn red.
You could tell Craft Man was mad.
I was hitting it. You ever type on your phone and you're about to break the goddamn phone while typing? That's the way I was feeling. I mean, I was not in a good. I just got off work. Shit was supposed to be happy time.
Man, I go to look at my message. I just, I was taking a little nap. I look up. I see a message from old Dick Blower talking about, man, you ain't got to explain shit. I was like, dang, I'm about to scroll up, start seeing what was happening. But we're gonna break down that trade for sure. But real quick though, if there's anybody on your, we didn't really discuss it, but if A-Chain's on your waiver wires, go pick his ass up. We don't even have to say it. Tank Dell, if he just happens to be there, pick his ass up.
There wasn't a whole lot of injuries this week, which is good. So the waiver wire is a little more thin. I mean, personally, my opinion is, unless it's A-Chain or somebody like we mentioned, probably just wait it out. Don't spend your waiver priority on nobody this week, and just pick up somebody for free on Wednesday or Thursday after waivers run. Because I mean, Chris, is there anybody that's besides A-Chain or like a Tank Dell? What about? I mean, Adam Thielen's probably rostered, right? Most leagues.
Yeah, I would say he's probably rostered. If not, I feel like especially if Andy Dalton plays again next week, that Adam Thielen will be a nice little. I know he'll probably be in my DFS lineup this week if Andy Dalton plays again.
What about? I got one. Joshua Palmer, Quentin Johnson.
Yeah.
If they're out there, I would spend a waiver pick on. Which one do y'all want in redraft though?
Probably Josh Palmer, if I'm just being honest. I mean, I never really. I mean, like I know they drafted Quentin Johnson, but it was like I never really wanted to fade Josh Palmer like that. That dude as your 4 or 5 receiver is fucking stacked. So I mean, really your third, I guess, or I don't even know. I guess Josh Palmer for real, and we'll just see what Quentin Johnson does. I mean, you never know. He might still be irrelevant. Chris had brought up before the episode Donald Parham. You know, we're always talking about those damn tight ends.
Parham. Touchdown vulture.
So
yeah,
throw him up
if
in
you're
there.
Hurting, if you're like in the home league, I'm hurting at tight end. I had Schultz. He was with Dallas last season. He got the targets. He's with CJ Stroud now, and CJ Stroud is not throwing this dude the ball. Dawson Knox is not having a good year. I mean, so I'm gonna throw a little shot on him. He's not getting. I mean, he's getting 2-3 targets a game, but he's getting in the end zone.
Played 52% of snaps last week. So,
but that's what you want from your tight ends.
If you don't want Parham and you don't want to pick him up, at least take this as a note that Gerald Everett is not the guy.
Yeah, which is crazy because Gerald Everett was solid last year. So
yeah,
but anyways, let's just bring up a few players real quick. Should we push the panic button? And this is from mostly the redraft perspective. We'll probably talk a little bit of that. Probably bring up the Dynasty perspective too, though. But let's just start it off right. Running back, Josh Jacobs. Chris is a Josh Jacobs guy. Last year, I was wrong all year. I was talking about sell Josh Jacobs, looking like a fool. Here's my advice. I said it to Kraft. I said it to Chris before the episode. When it comes to Dynasty, if somebody's going to offer you a haul for a running back, just fucking do it. I mean, if you can get a little bit of a lesser running back and maybe get some draft capital, just fucking do that shit. I mean, I ain't even going to sit here and recommend paying up for a running back. I mean, it could pay off. Chris paid up to get Christian McCaffrey, and that one's paid off, but it's like, it's almost just like a shot in the dark with tight ends almost at this point. But Josh Jacobs, struggling a little bit this year. I feel like it was you could probably see this coming with him not going to camp and all that stuff. But what are we doing with Josh Jacobs, Kraft man?
Well, me and Ian mentioned him on that last episode, and Ian had quickly, kind of mentioned his last year. Last year he started off with 7 points, 8 points, 12 points. But I kind of dove deeper into that after Ian told me, and still not great performances for you at the start of last year with Jacobs, but he was, in them 3 games, he averaged 5.7 a carry, 3.6 a carry, 5 yards a carry. This year, he's at 2.5 a carry, negative yards a carry, and then 3.6. So, just the efficiency isn't there either. But the opportunity's still there. But, I mean, I got Jacobs in redraft. I'm just going to hold, and hopefully he gets better. He's got a good schedule. He's got the Chargers, Green Bay, New England, Chicago, Detroit, Giants. Those are like his next 5 or 6 games. So if he keeps struggling, I just think he's a hold right now. If anything, I would try to go buy Josh Jacobs in redraft and in Dynasty at this point. I think he's more of a buy than freaking out for me. What do you think, Chris?
I mean, in redraft, with where you drafted this guy, say that this goes on and he remains mid-tier, like, I mean, there's right now, honestly, there's not really. It could go down, but it's not going to go down much, like. But where you drafted this guy, this is supposed to be your RB1 right here. You need this dude dropping 17, 18 fantasy points a game. His yards per carry is just shit. And that also comes down to this offense is not competing in these games anymore. They're losing. They're getting killed. Devontae Adams, of course, is popping off. I mean, Devontae Adams, I don't think that I could probably throw the ball to Devontae Adams and he would make plays with it. He's just that fucking good. But they're having to play from behind. Josh Jacobs isn't breaking these big runs. He's not getting it. He still doesn't have a touchdown on the year. You hate to see that because that's the number one thing to me whenever you're running back right here. So say this last week, he got you 11 fantasy points in PPR, 3.65 yards per carry. If he gets a touchdown right there in that game, which Pittsburgh had been giving up a shit ton of, rushing yards.
Yeah.
He salvages his day and he's a RB1 for you that week. But in redraft, I am kind of panicking. My thing with Dynasty, though, is that this dude is gone next year. I think that he's gone. I think he might be in a bit better situation. I think that the bridge has been burnt. I do not think he's coming back to the Raiders.
He'll end up somewhere most likely better, though, because he's still young, even though it seems like he's been in the league for a while. What is he, 25 years old right now? So, I mean, he can go somewhere and sign a whole new contract. It probably won't be nothing massive if this continues. But speaking on Devontae Adams, he wants out. I heard something today that he's already.
I don't blame him.
He's already saying he wants to be traded. So, as an old Packers fan with Devontae, come on back. We'll welcome you. We'll welcome you back with open arms. Just come on.
Yeah, I saw that too. So, my thing is with Josh Jacobs is that it's like, would you say, like what you just said with Devontae, like it's just a shit show in Las Vegas, just a shit show. The offense ain't really performing. Who could have, saw that coming? You got Jimmy G up in there.
The world.
I mean, it's like that's what I'm saying.
I did say they were going to be better than the Broncos. So
yeah. All right, well, check. Let's just say somebody comes at you with, I don't know, say Ramondre Stevenson. They're like, do you trade Josh Jacobs for in redraft? Somebody's like, I'll give you Ramondre for Josh Jacobs. You do
it? Probably, yeah. Their offense is a little better.
What about Miles Sanders? Somebody says,
no.
You keeping Josh Jacobs?
I would do the Miles Sanders before, but just after watching these games, no. We still don't have what we're doing now.
Their offense is just as bad, and Miles Sanders is a less talented back than Josh Jacobs.
Yep.
What about somebody like...
What about James Conner?
James Conner. What about him? I probably want James Conner.
Yeah, I would like to hold on to James Conner or get James Conner.
Man, that's hard. I think I'd just hold on to Jacobs.
Because you look at James Conner, man, 4.43 yards per carry, 4.61. And then last week against Dallas, and that defense that they talk about so much, 7 yards per carry against the Dallas Cowboys.
James Conner's a really good player.
Skip Bayless was furious. I'm telling y'all, man. This dude.
Man, I just want to say for everybody out there, fuck Skip Bayless. All right. All right, now let's move on. Najee Harris. Panic button. I've been calling for before the season started, I was not high on Najee. Are we pushing the panic button on Najee? I'm saying yes, and I'm not even saying it's all Najee's fault. I'm just saying Najee's not going to get the catches like he was with Big Ben, and that O-line is still so bad. I'm seeing clip after clip after clip. Every time Najee touches that ball, he's getting hit in the backfield. If I could sell Najee, I would. It's just like this one. Najee's a little bit different to me than Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, I could see being in a buy low situation. Najee, I do not see that. I'm not even
a sell low situation. I mean,
get rid of that dude.
I just don't see much. Like, I mean, you can get him for. I would trade him for Kyron Williams, who you just got off the free agent market this year. off waiver wires. I mean, you can pretty much trade him for damn near anybody. I mean, I wouldn't go as low as I wouldn't trade him for Devon A-Chain off that massive performance or nothing like that. I mean, would y'all trade Najee for Devon A-Chain in redraft?
Not the way that the team currently sits, but if something happens to Mostert.
Man,
well, Jeff Wilson's supposed to be coming. I mean, he's on IR, but he'll be back, and
he'll get hurt again.
But Ahmed was out. He was injured last
week too. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that one's tough. I don't know, man. Because, I feel like you're not going to get there's Najee has no upside. I feel like Devon A-Chain does have some upside. I'm talking about Najee don't even have, some mid-side. Like, this dude is, he don't even have a low side. Like, we're talking about, so I don't know. It might be worth the risk, even though I think it's just one game from A-Chain.
I got a good one. Zach Moss. Would you trade Najee for Zach Moss, even though we don't know what Jonathan Taylor's going to do?
I see. I might, because I don't think Jonathan Taylor's coming back to the Colts. I don't think that this dude's going to suit up as a Colt again.
Yeah,
they're 2-1 right now.
Yeah, that if it's working, why change it? And Zach Moss has been looking good.
That one's hard, but I think Najee is just one of them. Najee's scary because you spent so much draft capital on him, and he's just got a big name. You're going to want to put him in your lineup every week when you probably shouldn't. So he's probably more detrimental to your team than anything at this point.
Yeah. That was a tough one. If you listen to some of I was definitely off the Najee one before the season started. We got another one. Shout out to King Henry. Man has not, I don't know. I mean, people have been calling for his demise for 3 or 4 years now. This might be the year right here that we're looking at. I've been selling the Titans. I don't really, last year I thought the Titans were shit. I thought they was going to blow it up and rebuild after that. After last year, they decided to bring in D-Hop. We're going to run it back. We're going to do it again. Tannehill's a bum. I mean, look, I gave Tannehill's props whenever he was rolling with Tennessee, and I thought he was solid, and he definitely did some good things, but that shit's just played out. Like, Tannehill's a bum. The Titans are shitty. What are we doing with King Henry, Kraft, man? Are you buying low on King Henry?
In redraft, it's real tough because this last week he only played 17 snaps, which is not, I mean, that's weird to say the least. It's weird, but he also was on the injury report with a toe injury leading up to the week, so it's hard to say if that toe injury was, more, I mean, just affected him more than we thought it was going to be, because it just kind of seemed like one of them things where a team puts a guy on the injury report when it was really a rest day. Right. But I give it one more week. If the snap count is low, it might just be the demise of Derrick Henry. He had one of the best running backs of all time, so it has to come to an end at some point. I'm about 70% on the side that it's not over yet. 30%, I think it might be done.
Might be worth to take him on a buy low situation. Somebody panicking. I would feel a little bit better about trying to get Derrick Henry in a buy low and redraft than say Najee.
What about? I got one for you. Off of a massive game. Talking about buy low and redraft. Raheem Mostert for Derrick Henry.
I think if you got Raheem Mostert in there, well, I mean, why is redraft is just so fucking tough, man, when it comes to these decisions. Gotta have some cojones. But hell, I mean, I'm saying you might as well just fucking do it. But the thing is, Mostert, he always gets hurt too,
Most
I mean, he'll get hurt eventually.
What do you think, Chris? Would you rather have Mostert or Henry from here on? I mean,
as much as I want to be like, oh man, Derrick Henry, he is one of the greatest running backs of all time. But that Miami offense just looks so fucking good, man. And Raheem Mostert right now currently sitting as the number 1 running back in fantasy. Right now. This dude didn't just have a 45-point game out of nowhere. He had 13, almost 14 in the first game, and then he dropped 26 in the second. Yeah, I mean, he's having 100-yard games. I mean, 4 touchdowns ain't gonna happen every fucking game, but he looks good.
I agree. I think I'd hold on to Mostert.
Yep. I'm with you. All right, let's move on to some wide receivers real quick. Are we pushing the panic button on Garrett Wilson? And this one hits close to home because I got fucking Garrett Wilson, and I've been trying to get rid of him. But then I asked Kraft, "What do you think I can get?" And he's throwing me players like Ayuk and stuff like that, and I'm just like, "Damn, I just want to hold. I don't even want to fucking do that shit." Maybe they'll bring
In
in Carson
redraft.
Wentz in
This is
redraft, redraft big time. I'm definitely keeping Garrett Wilson. In fact, the Dynasty, if Garrett Wilson might be a little buy low if you can swing a little something in Dynasty. I'd go out there and try to get Garrett Wilson because they ain't gonna be rolling. They ain't rolling out there and with Zach Wilson next season for damn sure. But
I've been back and forth with Akil. I've been trying to get Devontae Smith for Garrett Wilson straight up. He's like he just don't want to do it. He can't pull the trigger on it.
That one's tough.
It is tough.
I feel yeah.
That kind of stuff you just kind of got to like look to the future.
That's fucking collusion, though. I don't know if I can make that trade. That shit's collusion as fuck.
It is collusion.
All right, but from the redraft perspective, what are we doing with Garrett Wilson? Like, I think it's time to panic pretty much. I mean, and the only thing that could save Garrett Wilson is if they bring in some mediocre ass quarterback, and that don't really sound appealing. And if you're playing with some good players,
they brought in Trevor Siemian.
I mean,
was so much better, dude.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, I would. Just
I think anything's better than. Obviously, I'm in a complete other boat. I have to put anybody other than Zach Wilson in there.
Man, why is Zach Wilson?
If the guy can't complete 20 passes in a game, no.
You know, for a while, that 22 class of wide receivers was looking so strong, and now you're looking at them, and that class be looking kind of crazy. Like Garrett Wilson really he's not panning out. Drake London sure ain't panning out. Jamison Williams bust so far. Olave is really the best one. Old Mudbutt, shout out to Mudbutt on top again.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even. I don't even count that as just like the receivers. Yeah. I mean, they're in some shitty situations. I mean, you got Garrett Wilson coming into this year. This dude was like, man, I'm gonna be catching passes from Aaron Rodgers. You know how many young receivers? I mean, I bet he was loving to hear that moment on the intercom whenever Aaron Rodgers throws him a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson. I mean, yeah, like the feeling that you got to get for something like that. Now he's like Zach Wilson to interception. Like that's what he's hearing the whole game. Sack, interception, fumble. And then with Drake London, Drake London's an offense that they like to run the ball. They love to fucking run the ball.
It was like the very first thing I said when I did this podcast. Situation, it fucking matters. There's no doubt about it because you can have all the talent in the world, but you could be sitting there stuck. I mean, I don't know, man. But anyways, Garrett Wilson. What are we doing with Garrett Wilson in redraft, Kraft, man?
I mean, this might sound a little insensitive, but when Aaron Rodgers went down, the first thing I thought was, fuck. We're never going to see how good Garrett Wilson is. Like, he is so damn good, man. Like, he is so talented. But in redraft, I mean, I've been trying to talk to you, Matt. I'm trying to trade Garrett Wilson for, like, this is redraft. Amari Cooper, Brandon Ayuk, players around that range. You're not going to get Devontae Smith for him. Those are really the players that are around that range because I do think Garrett Wilson is going to finish closer to a back-end wide receiver 2 than he is a top-end wide receiver 2. I think he's going to be around that, or where he was last year. He was wide receiver 21 last year, and that was with Flacco and Mike White, and that's where all of his production came. Zach Wilson sucks, and Garrett Wilson does not produce with Zach Wilson. Nobody does. Except for the opposing defense. They produce a lot.
If they change up that offense a bit and they go start doing some short runs with some catches and then that PPR total goes up, I figured they would do that anyway. You got a quarterback that's historically struggled, has been a bust. Make this easier for him. Let him get a few completions under his belt, run some flats, run some slants, some just short yardage stuff. Let him get the ball out. and in turn that translates to fantasy numbers. But I don't know. I guess that's why I don't make as much as these people. But hey, I feel like I could win games better than some of them, though. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just tough. Garrett Wilson is just there's nothing you can really do unless you try to go for those guys that Craftman's talking about. And if you're struggling, maybe Garrett Wilson could be a buy low, and then you get lucky and they bring in some quarterback that can throw the ball a little bit. It's all a bunch of luck. But
I think Dynasty's a buy low. Redraft, I feel like,
yeah.
oh my god, you just got to get what. Like, if you could get Amari Cooper, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I mean, as we're talking about the Jets, though, we've been talking about Rodgers missing time and Garrett Wilson is affected. But what are we doing with Breece Hall in Dynasty and redraft? Like, is he a buy low? I feel like I don't know. I want to hear y'all's opinion first. What do you think, Matt?
Well, look, it's like I said. If somebody offers you a haul for Breece Hall, I mean, just fucking do it. And if you can get a little lesser running back, get some draft capital, just do it, you know. But don't be making no fair trades out there getting rid of Breece Hall. Like, I know Jordan was showing me some. Our guy Zamil out there trying to trade rape his ass, trying to get Breece Hall and shit like that. Like, I wouldn't be doing that shit. And redraft, I mean, I don't know, man. I was thinking that Breece Hall, because he was actually good with Zach Wilson last year. I don't know if people remember that. Zach Wilson was swinging the ball out to Breece Hall, and he was still good. I figured you might get some of that.
Would you rather have Jahmyr Gibbs or Breece Hall in redraft?
I'd say Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Well, one thing I got to say about Breece Hall, I do got to say a little bit about Breece Hall is we kind of expected him to make his way back slowly, right, through the start of the year. So last week he got 12 carries, the highest of any game. He only had 18 yards, but the first 3 weeks he played Buffalo, Dallas, New England. Then he's got Kansas City, Denver, Philly. Still tough, except for Denver. Then a bye week. But after that bye week in week 7, he's got the Giants, the Chargers, Las Vegas, Buffalo, Miami, Atlanta, Houston. I think this is a guy to go get and redraft. If you can manage it. I mean, he hasn't done anything except for a big run in week 1. So, I mean, if you can go out and get Breece Hall, I think it's a good time to do it.
Might have to hit up the White Snake. Might have to go get me some Breece Hall real quick. Shout out to White Snake. Yeah, I hear you, man.
They're going to run the ball. They got to. That's the only thing they got.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, another one we got. Drake London. Wow, I'm talking about full panic on this motherfucker here, man. Full panic. Redraft, being the crap man was telling you not to go get him anyway, so I hope you listen to us. Dynasty, heck, I just went and got Drake London in the 4th round or something. I don't feel too bad about it as far as Dynasty goes, because I just feel like Falcons got to switch. I mean, we couldn't possibly roll with Ritter next year. I feel like, but you never know with the Falcons.
Man, you're always saying give him a chance. Give him a chance. That chance is over with, dude. You got to admit that chance is done. He's not the guy, man.
I'm a little bit different from Falcons fans that we got down here. Like, those spoiled motherfuckers complain about Matt Ryan all those years. Like, shut your ass up. Now Mariota is not him. Desmond Ritter, I gave him a chance. I want to give him a chance. That's obvious. That's not paying off. It's like they bring that Georgia Bulldog low IQ and bring it to the Falcons. Like, don't bring that shit up in here. Let's start giving our players some chances. And all that hating on Matt Ryan, shut your ass up. Spoiled, man. Crap, man. This is what I gotta say. We're the Falcons, bro. The Falcons. Like, we was actually winning some games. Like, we were spoiled. So for us to be complaining about Matt Ryan those years, like, shut up. We're the Falcons. Like, we're like closer to the Browns than we are the 49ers. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But anyways, what are we doing with Drake London? And Dynasty, I would kick the tires on buying low. Redraft, I'm just straight up staying away. You don't want him. You don't want him, Pitts. You want those running. You want Bijan and maybe Algier, and then that's about it.
Yeah, and I think Algier's matchup based. Like, if you think Atlanta's going to get out to a lead, like they did with the Panthers, Algiers going to have some really good games, but if they're going to be playing from behind, if it's going to be a tough matchup, Algiers probably not going to be startable. But Bijan, every week in your lineup, he's great. But I'm just going to pass on what you said about the Bulldogs. Fuck you too. But Desmond Ridder, I'm telling you, if you go back and listen to our episodes when we wrote down QBs and draft capital and just the QB landscape before the season, we had mentioned that the second round, QBs taken in the second round or later, is like I don't know the exact number. It's like a 5% chance that you're going to be good.
I feel like it's lower than that.
Yeah, it might have been. It might have been lower than that, but just go back if you can. Go back and listen to it if you want to. But Desmond Ridder, Sam Howell, they were kind of in the same boat all off season. They both look terrible. They both probably won't have a job by the end of the year. And
they're not
I've never watching the Falcons. We just played them last week. It was tough to stop the run, but I'm telling you, I've never seen. Well, I've probably seen it before, but Desmond Ridder, every single one of his passes are high. Like everything is like floated above the receivers, and like it's so dangerous as a quarterback in the league to be overthrowing receivers like that on like curl routes, because the safety's right behind him for an interception. So, I mean, he just looks bad to me.
He is, man. Hopefully we'll be moving on and we won't be kicking the tires on this shit again. But it is what it is.
Gonna go get Kyler Murray.
That's what I'm saying. Let's go get Kyler. I'll even kick the tires on motherfucking Justin Fields. Come on down to Atlanta, get you on the low.
Kyler's such a buy in Dynasty too. Still, like the window's still there to buy Kyler, because
people hate him.
If he doesn't start with the Cardinals, he's going to start with somebody. Like worst case scenario, he starts with the Cardinals. Best case scenario, he gets moved. Yeah. And the worst case scenario still ain't bad.
Right. Can't buy him from me. Ain't no chance. In fact, I'm dependent on him. I'm dependent on motherfucker. All right, throw him my way then. Fuck it. I'll figure out what to do at quarterback later then. All right, well, shit, man. Drake London, and I put Drake London in that same boat with Najee. Just stay away from him in redraft. Buy low in Dynasty. Let's go to a couple quarterbacks, though. And in fact, old Akil, about halftime through the game, said, come get this bum done. Threw him on the trade block.
So funny, dude. So funny.
So what I do, man, I get on real quick. I'm like, I'll give you Justin Fields for him. But he was like, but here's the thing though, and obviously, like, ain't none of us doing that trade, but I just think it's funny. But he was like, that's crazy, man. That's just wild. I was like, I don't know. Check the game log. Like, Justin Fields a little better. Like, I don't know. But with that said, Joe Burrow turned it around a little bit in that second half. I think he threw for one touchdown, and then maybe Joe Mixon scored one later on. Is that
he didn't have a touchdown, but he had a decent amount of passing yards, all to Jamar Chase. It's funny when your receiver has 20 fantasy points and your quarterback has 9. That shows you, who he's throwing the ball to.
Man, I'm sorry. I'm just laughing because old Big Dunk done sent us. He was asking David about Adams. I guess Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
He said that David said. Chris ain't gonna be surprised, man. We always get some goofy stuff from DT, but he said he wants McLaurin a first in 4 seconds.
In 4 seconds.
I'm just like, that's random as fuck. Like 4, like why not 3? But anyways, that shit just cracks me the fuck up. But
Would
anyways,
you do it? Would you do it?
Nah, man.
Hell no.
But all right, so what are we doing with Joe Burrow? Let's start redraft wise. Are we panicking on Joe Burrow and redraft? Me, probably not. You took him in the 4th round, so you probably just stuck with him. You probably just got to hold it out. I mean, what are you gonna do? You gonna trade down and go get a Jared Goff craft, or what you gonna do?
Well, in redraft, you don't necessarily have to trade if you're playing in a 1 QB league. I mean, personally, I would stream quarterbacks if I had Joe Burrow for the time being. I mean, this calf injury isn't going away.
Nope.
It's going to be the same next week and the week after. I just think you would be better off right now treating him like Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, is in redraft. Go out, see if Daniel Jones is out there on a good matchup, Brock Purdy on a good matchup. I would rather start these guys as of right now. Like,
I'd start Brock Purdy even without a good matchup. I mean, he's just so consistent, man.
He really is. Yeah. And I mean, nothing against Joe Burrow. He's just hurt. And in Dynasty, I ain't worried about it at all. It's whatever. Right. You're just gonna have to lick your wounds for a little while, and just hang on tight, and it'll be fine.
Kill, you're just gonna have to buck up and throw Bryce Young in there and just take some L's too.
Yeah. So, moving on. Justin Fields in the building. Looked so bad this week. I just put a little context on some Justin Fields. Not really been a big Justin Fields hater, but I wasn't exactly the biggest Justin Fields guy either. Did that startup. Fields came to me. I felt like there was nobody else I could really take, so I took him and tried to ship him out all year. Nobody would take it. Now nobody's definitely taking Justin Fields. I don't even know what to do with his ass. I don't want him in a redraft. You took him in the fucking 4th round. That's been Kraftman's winning with Justin Fields on his team, so probably not too much to panic for, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I've been winning with Trevor Lawrence playing bad, so I don't really want to do nothing with Trevor Lawrence either. All those guys like that. If you can win with them guys, you don't really.
You got to improve though. You got to at least keep trying to improve,
right?
Even if you're winning, because one day you ain't gonna be winning. Like this week, Matt. Right? You ain't gonna be winning this week because you play me.
I don't know, man. I got a little bit better luck in this redraft league than I do in the home league. Fuck everybody in the home league, goddamn. Y'all can all kiss my ass.
Good luck with Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, and Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen don't only catch touchdowns; he throws touchdowns, and he's a dual threat option. This is Taysom Hill on steroids right here.
That's just crazy. I got to fucking deal with Keenan Allen 2 weeks in a row, man. Fuck Big Mike. I know he might not listen to this shit. I told him when I came back in from work, checked it out. I said Keenan Allen had 45. I just said, fuck you, Big Mike. I mean, seriously, man. All right.
Micah is the only person I know that'll be winning by 30 and talking about, man, fuck this head coach, man. He don't know how to play football. He was getting on to Sean McVay yesterday.
He had already won. Dropped 170. Led the whole league last week. He's still complaining about his team. Kyron Knight, but he's right, though. Sean McVay should have handed that ball to Kyron Williams at 1st and goal at the 1. That shit was crazy, man. Got a little too cute. These guys, they like to get it. Anyways, what are we doing with Justin Fields? Dynasty. I mean, hell, I guess you got a whole. How about this? I'll put it like this: if you're like a rebuilding guy and you're a punting kind of guy, I would kick the tires on buying Justin Fields low. It's got to be a good low though. Yeah, I'm not really a big Justin Fields guy, anyways, but I'm big in taking your opportunities to buy low. I mean, I would have told you to go kick the tires on somebody like Sky Moore or something at the beginning of the year or something like that, but.
Let's put into perspective that this is coming from the guy that declined the trade for Russell Wilson and 2 first-round picks for Justin Fields. He declined that trade
before the season.
Yeah,
before the season. It was like week 1.
Nah, it was before the season. Because here's what I was trying to do. I was trying to take Justin Fields, maybe give him my first, and go up. But nobody wants to. I mean, see, why is people like David drafted Trevor Lawrence over? Why don't you go draft your boy? Y'all talk all this shit about these guys, and then when it comes down to it, y'all don't stay true. Y'all really want these guys. But anyways, I think you just stuck with Justin Fields. You might as well just hold. I mean, somebody will kick the tires on Justin Fields in the NFL, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, Kraft, you was telling me I should sell low, or just go ahead and sell them. If I could get a first. I just don't think I'm getting a first for Justin Fields. So I just don't think it's
I mean, you should listen to Ian last week. It was absolutely ridiculous.
I'll give you a first for Justin Fields. Right now.
Would you? Well, your first is going to be... Well, actually, your first is going to be early.
Stop fucking over my trades, Kraft, man. I'm trying to make a trade.
Who's your second quarterback, man? Just go ahead and send me that Russell Wilson 2 first again. I might.
Yeah, no, that one's off the table. Even Russ is off the table. He's
when
looking
I
good,
declined
man.
that,
He's looking good.
when I declined that, I said I might regret declining that shit.
You did say that,
but
you wouldn't trade Russ straight up for Fields, though.
like straight. I mean, I don't know.
Russ ain't been that good. He's been throwing Hail Marys and shit and getting away with it.
Fantasy-wise, he's been fine.
Yeah, he's been pretty decent.
That's what I'm saying, fantasy-wise. But when you throw in a 50-yard Hail Mary at the end of the game and shit like that, it's going to look good. That's like 12
Justin Fields needs...
That's what I needed him to do.
Justin Fields needs to do something.
Justin Fields is a bum, man. I hate to say it, everybody. If your basket's all in on Justin Fields, I'm sorry. You got to hold the L. I'm about to hold the L on this one. Good thing I took Kyler, and I'm about to have the 101. I'm going to fix that shit real quick.
I ain't even hating on nobody for drafting Justin Fields because I got him in 2 redraft leagues. I really thought that he was going to take a step up. This Bears offense is going to be better, but, the Bears suck, and Justin Fields sucks. So... I just don't know what to do with him in Dynasty. I did tell you to sell somewhat low compared to what he was worth earlier. I would take a mid-first for him. I would take definitely an early first. But me and Ian were talking about last week. I want to hear y'all's perspective on this. Because Ian was saying that Justin Fields, there's no need to worry. He's fine. He'll have a job next year. And I was on the other side of saying, Justin Fields has been good for fantasy in spurts, but also we're talking about real football here. And if he doesn't have a job next year, he is no good on your fantasy team. Right. So, what side are y'all on? Do y'all think that even if it doesn't work out with the Bears, he could go somewhere and still start? Or is he going to be a backup next year?
Yeah, I'm not that far. I don't think he'll be a backup.
I don't think he'll be a backup. I still believe in. I think Justin Fields is still a good quarterback. I put it on Chicago. I really do. I don't know. I just watched the play calling and some of this stuff, and yeah, he does make mistakes, but play calling is awful.
What circumstances have to happen though for him to be a starter next year? Because say Chicago just keeps losing, which they will. They draft Caleb Williams or Drake May. Because, Chris, didn't you say they got 2 picks in the top 5 if they're that bad?
They have Bears pick and they have the Panthers pick.
Okay. So
both 0-3.
So what happens with Justin Fields? He's on that rookie contract, which is pretty – they get paid pretty well. Is another team going to take on that deal like the Falcons, like the Titans? Or
I don't think the Falcons will. Historically, I just don't see them taking on that contract.
But if you had to put it percentage-wise, what's the percentage that he starts with the Bears next year, and what percentage would you say he starts with another team next year?
I would say I'm going to say this. I think that if he's on the Bears next year, he's 100% the starter. And if somewhere else that he goes, unless he goes somewhere that has an established QB, he's 100% the starter. And I'm talking like established QB, like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, like these type QBs. This kid is good. He knows what he's doing.
Well, let me put it like this: if they draft Caleb Williams and Drake May, what's the percent chance that Justin Fields starts somewhere?
I think it's 100%.
100%.
I don't
even if he's on the team and they draft Caleb Williams, I think Justin Fields will start.
I think they'll just trade Justin Fields at that point.
I think that they will trade him too. Chicago, these past few years, they've had these top picks and they move them. They move around. They jump up and down. You got 2 picks in the first 5. I've been seeing a lot of Bears people talking about. What was it? The Chicago Tribune was saying that they could get Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. and if they have those picks. A first round, and that's what you got. Damn. There are talks that Caleb Williams, if Chicago has the number 1 pick, he has said personally, this came out his mouth, that he is not going to the NFL.
I saw that too, and then I would go take Drake May then.
I'm just saying we've known that Justin Fields has been good for fantasy in a good stretch, But in real NFL football, Justin Fields is, I said it last episode, I'm going to say it again. He's the second worst quarterback in the NFL behind Zach Wilson.
Yep.
Ryan Tannehill is better than Justin Fields.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, but I just really feel like he's starting somewhere else.
Just giving another chance.
He's definitely getting another chance. I mean, I would definitely want my Falcons if they could get him low to go do it. We're not asking him to throw the ball.
So you're just gonna hold Fields, right? In Dynasty, just gonna hold.
I mean, hopefully, I'm gonna say hold for now, but hopefully he can get on one of those little spurts he was on last year. It started week 6, and he just tore up the league. If you could sell him then, just ditch him.
But defenses have figured him out. I feel like defenses have figured him out. Like, make him sit in the pocket. Don't let him get out and run.
Yeah.
And the Bears offensive coordinator and head coach, it's just shit show, man. They're the worst run organization right now in football.
Them and
Except for the Panthers, they're pretty bad too.
Yeah,
I think Las Vegas. Las Vegas got
shitty organization.
Yeah,
but Chicago did make that trade and got a first round pick or whatever, right? They got Panthers first round. That wasn't a bad move right there. It was like one of those button up. But here's another thing.
Just think, man, we could have held on to DJ Moore, started Matt Corral, lost these games, and we could have had Caleb Williams with that pick. But I think Caleb Williams is better than Bryce Young.
Here's one thing though that I would say is like, what if you're a Bears fan? Like, what were you expecting? Like, you guys were terrible last year. You had to know you would be terrible this year.
You don't even want to know what they would think. I've been getting these fan pages pop up on my Facebook, so I go in and read the delusions of some of these fans. I don't know, man. Chicago, they was thinking they was making the playoffs. Some of them, I mean, like Cowboys fans, they think they're winning it all every year.
Well, I think what they were expecting, truthfully, is like you got a past where Josh Allen, he's average. You get Stephon Diggs, he's great. You get Jalen Hurts, he's average. You get A.J. Brown, he's great. You bring Justin Fields in, you get DJ Moore. What happens? You expect him to be great.
Yeah.
And then that shit ain't happening. Like they bring in a number one wide receiver and think that things are going to change. But Justin Fields is not. He's just not that guy.
And DJ Moore ain't on that level, so I don't know why they were. And I like DJ Moore, but I don't know. That receiver, him specifically, ain't gonna turn it around like an AJ Brown would. I mean, that's
or hell, even next year in the draft, Marvin Harrison.
I would love to see AJ Moore with a good quarterback for once in his life.
Yeah,
hey, yeah. Like I said, I mean, he had all those years of 1,000 yards with shitty ones. Give him a good one.
All right, man. We're gonna move on because we got a trade to break down. Let's go to the Dynasty. To the Dynasty world, our craft man was in a trade today with his homie, too. Let's go ahead and throw that out there since Akil wanted to throw that out. It was craft man's boy. So I'm going to break it down and I'm going to go real slow because whenever I listen to podcasts and they're breaking down these trades, it's like I need a fucking picture to see what the fuck y'all are talking about.
Let's break. Let me get the teams pulled up in general.
Yeah.
And just tell y'all what my team and his team are all looking like at the same time.
No, we just want to see the trade straight up first.
Yeah, okay. Craftman pulls it up. All right.
It matters the team build. Also.
Well, yeah, afterwards, yeah.
So Craftman and Noah Dick Blower, he's been on the pod. We call him Noah Dick Blower. He doesn't seem to get offended by it, so we just keep calling him Noah Dick Blower.
Embraces it. He embraces it.
So we got Kraft Austin 99. He receives Jamar Chase, Austin Eckler, and Joshua Kelly, running back for the Chargers. And Noah Dick Blower gets Travis Kelce, DK Metcalf, and Tank Dell. So a 3 for 3. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Kraft, you got the teams pulled up. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Kraft has got just Jamar Chase, Austin Eckler, Joshua Kelly, and Noah Dick Blower got Travis Kelce, DK Metcalf, and Tank Dell. So a 3 for 3, both competing teams.
Man, when you say that out loud, it just doesn't seem that bad to me. But I'm.
It seems worse to me. I don't know.
All right, so I ain't got to defend myself because, fuck it. When you go and trade somebody, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. There's not one trade out there in the world where you're going to be like, oh, I felt like I lost that bitch. Yay. Fuck yeah. So everybody's saying that I won the trade and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into all the shit, but I mean, I just felt like it was a decent trade, truthfully. I mean, Travis Kelce, he was this is a tight end premium league. He was only outscored by Justin Jefferson last year by 2 points. Justin Jefferson was the leading scorer in football last year. Noah is a win now team who needs the best tight end he could get. He was sitting there starting David Njoku, who's getting 5 points a week out of his tight end spot. He has depth at running back. He has depth at receiver. He has Tyreek Hill, for goodness sake. And now he has DK Metcalf also. So, I don't know. I felt like it was reasonably fair trade.
Well, Chris, go ahead. You've had a lot to say about this trade.
Yeah, for you. I think it was reasonably fair for you, dynasty-wise. Well, yeah, like you said, Travis Kelce in a tight end premium league. And, I mean, and in the dynasty with the tight ends, you know how we talk about fuck tight ends, man. If I could have Travis Kelce for God knows however much longer this motherfucker's going to play and not have to worry about putting the tight end, by all fucking means. But my thing is so right here, we've got in the chat, because I don't believe that it was collusion. I just think that you won the trade. I wanted to say that because I know there are some other people in this league that will jump on and start saying stuff. And
you just wanted to start some drama.
Yes, I did.
I love it. I live for it, man.
I literally stay at home with 2 infants all day, man. I gotta fucking entertain myself some. But let's see, where'd you break it down at?
Well, while you're looking for that, Chris, I'm going to go ahead and name off Noah's team.
Yep.
After the trade. So this is Noah's team in Dynasty. He's going for it. He has Jared Goff. This is a super flex. He has Jared Goff, McCaffrey, Kyron Williams, with Alexander Madison on the bench, DK, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Amari Cooper, Tank Dell, and Geno Smith. This is a pretty high-paying league. If Noah wins this league one time, it's going to pay for 12 years, just to say.
Yeah.
So what is the point of not going for it? Who's going to score more? Be honest. In a tight end premium, Travis Kelce or Jamar Chase? I just told you Travis Kelce scored just as much as Justin Jefferson last year. Jefferson scored 2 more points. The best receiver in the league.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and put my input in since what you call it. I didn't really get into all the collusion talk because I've learned a lesson. And when it comes to dynasty trades, they can look one way, and then by next year they're going to look a different way. Like, you never know. I guess my thing is here's the part. I mean, we'll put it like this: Jamar Chase. You were saying he's the dynasty wide receiver 1.
Yep.
I think you got to get more than Travis Kelce.
I think you do too. I mean, I don't.
But
23-year-old receiver for a 31-year-old tight end that you may have for 2 or 3 more years, even though he does score a lot of points.
But we were also talking about Eckler, who has a longer lifespan, Travis Kelce or Austin Eckler?
Austin Eckler, because he's a pass catcher. Like,
where's Eckler going to be next year? He's on the last year of his deal.
He ain't going to be in L.A. That's what I'm thinking. I think he'll be gone. Know what?
And he's currently hurt.
The trade is the trade. Like, I honestly, personally don't have a problem with it. If I was Dick Blow, though, I might would have tried to get more for what he got. I don't mind you going and getting Kelce, and like you gave up Eckler and you got Metcalf and Tank Dell. I might would have just tried to get more for both. That's all I would say. Jamar.
It just seems to me that it's like, you know, I don't know. To me, it's not the Kelce and Dell for Chase. Like, I see where you're coming to, like, scoring wise for that, right? Like, how you're figuring the value out for that. To me, it's the Eckler Metcalf. Because, man, I don't care who you are, man. Metcalf is not no world beater wide receiver 1 type player. He's a good player for sure, but this dude's not a top 5 wide receiver. Like Eckler is a top 5 running back.
Yeah, but running backs are not worth as much in Dynasty as receivers. And Metcalf
A pass catching running back is.
For 1 year. You got DK Metcalf for the long haul.
Yeah.
But
DK's upside is always so capped, though. I mean, you're not really getting any upside. You're basically trading Eckler for a wide receiver 2 year
But
in
would
and
you
year
take,
out.
if we're talking about top 5 running backs this year that are on the last year of their deal, like Tony Pollard's in that category, would you rather have Tony Pollard or DK Metcalf in Dynasty?
Tony Pollard.
It just depends on what kind of team you are.
Yeah, if you're winning now, I'm taking the running back. But that's what I'm saying. You're winning now. I would want.
You know, he is winning now, but he wanted Kelsey. I mean, that's bottom line. He's been wanting Kelsey because he thought that player was going to take him over the top all year long. I mean, this is one of them things where it was like, this is a conversation we had for 20 minutes on the phone, breaking down, this is what he wants, this is what I want, this is what he wants, this is what I want, and shit. That I just mentioned Eckler, and he was like, I'll do that, and shit, what am I supposed to say? Fuck no, I don't want Eckler.
No, I get where you're coming from. I think you got a hell of a fucking deal with your team already. I don't know, you haven't said your team, have you?
Well, me and Noah also made a trade earlier in the year where Matt posted it on Twitter where everybody said that I lost that trade.
And what was that one? I can't even remember that one.
Traded Amari Cooper and a first for DK.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Let me ask y'all this: would you trade Calvin Ridley for a first round pick, 24 first?
No. Nope.
You wouldn't. Damn.
Not a chance. I mean, we hadn't been that high on Calvin Ridley, but this Jaguars team has got to do better, right? Like, we didn't mention Trevor Lawrence in the freak out episode, or like just the freak outs with Justin Fields and Joe Burrow, but Trevor Lawrence has been very underwhelming for fantasy. This was your MVP long shot pick, Matt, to begin the year. I mean, do you think better days are coming?
Oh yeah, big time. I'm not really even worried about Trevor Lawrence like that. Not like I would be Justin Fields. I mean, they always get smacked by the Houston for some reason. I don't know why. And then Kansas City's defense looks fine. Trevor Lawrence had a good week 1. I wouldn't be freaking out on Trevor Lawrence, but that's just me.
He's not in the same category as Justin Fields. Trevor Lawrence got a job for a long time with the Jaguars. Right. He's going to be their quarterback forever. But I'm just saying, maybe redraft-wise, are you worried about Trevor Lawrence? Are you looking to stream good matchups like a Brock Purdy, like Chris was talking about, or Daniel Jones in a good matchup? I think they got. I'm not sure they play this week, but they got a good matchup. I mean, would you start one of them guys over Trevor Lawrence just this week? Jaguars play the Falcons, who like to run the ball a lot.
To me, that's just easy money right there. Trevor Lawrence is going to tear up that Falcons secondary.
They played Houston last week, and Houston got off to a lead, so you can't say that they were.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't know what it is about it. It's division teams or whatever, but they just never beat Houston. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, they always play bad versus Houston.
Yeah, I got one.
I watch the Falcons every week. I ain't worried about Trevor Lawrence having a bad game versus the Falcons. He's probably going to fuck them up.
Well, I heard something today that said Doug Peterson took over the play calls in the second half of that Houston game, and I was thinking to myself, like, why the hell is Doug Peterson giving up play calls in the first place?
Right. He caught them all last year, right?
I'm pretty sure.
That's what I thought.
So maybe it's looking up just from that perspective, too.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Who knows, man? Who knows? Maybe I should be worried about Trevor Lawrence. He really hadn't even crossed my mind. But the thing is, even though he sucked the last 2 weeks, I've won those weeks. So it's like, that's probably why he hadn't crossed my mind like that. So
it's nice when you're winning. Shit feels good when you're winning.
Man, fuck the home league, man. 1-2. I'm going against Big Dunk this week.
I got to play Dunk and Doo-Doo.
Yeah, he just offered me a 24 first for Calvin Ridley. I'm just wondering what I want to ship Ridley, but what should I get for him? I don't really know. I mean, I'm not
if it's
really
an early first, then probably like top 4, top 5. Yeah.
I'm thinking Dunk is at least mid to.
I mean, you just
Mid
gotta
to
ask
high.
yourself, like with this year's class, like Calvin Ridley or Jordan Addison. Calvin Ridley or Zay Flowers. I mean, I'd probably just stick with Calvin Ridley, depending on where my team was, I guess.
Might take Jordan Addison over Ridley.
Damn, I got 3 first rounders next
What
year.
about Kirk? What about Kirk Cousins maybe leaving? If Kirk Cousins leaves Minnesota, Justin Jefferson takes a hit, Jordan Addison takes a massive hit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Minnesota would be crazy to be giving them up, so I don't know. We'll see.
They're 0-3.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I
could see him just straight up tanking it. Or I would just trade him. That's what I'm saying. NFL teams, they need to start looking at their shit like Dynasty or like NBA with some of these quarterbacks. I mean, like.
But it's not that easy, though. You can't just hop in a new offensive scheme and just be like.
I understand
like
that.
NBA, you're just a great player. Go out there and do your thing.
I understand that part, but I would definitely capitalize on these quarterbacks. Trade like it's like the Rams. They're the only ones out there doing shit different than everybody else. Like they was kicking the tires on trying to trade Stafford. I believe they would trade Stafford today.
But what about the Jets? Like, say you go out and get Kirk Cousins. They're 1-2 right now. Say they're 2-4, and they get Kirk Cousins at the trade deadline. He got to come in, learn new offense, plays half the year, and then Aaron Rodgers is healthy next year. Then what do? You got 2 quarterbacks who are making hella money.
Well, see, Jets.
It just doesn't seem reasonable.
I just don't think that they would do that.
If I'm the Falcons, I'm gonna throw some picks and whatever to get Kirk Cousins and see if I could get.
What's the cap?
I don't even give a fuck about the
cap for the Falcons next year. Falcons fan, you know your caps. What's your cap space looking like?
I do think the Falcons got good cap space from what I remember.
I think they do too.
I think we should go get Kyler Murray personally. So.
You're not a real fan if you don't know cap space.
You gotta know the cap space. Ours is sitting at like 13.666.
Oh Lord. Well, fellas, I guess that about wraps it up. We rambled on. We gave you some of the good stuff. Broke down the Dynasty trade. I think in the end, being Chris ain't got a problem with the trade too bad. Kraft won
collusion
today. Kraft won us today, and I'll text the kid later on and see if he really thought it was collusion. And I'll get back to y'all. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But other than that, fellas, I say we wrap it on up. Appreciate y'all, everybody who listens to the pod. Kraft, man, what you got to say to the people before we head out?
Just reiterating what you said. Appreciate everybody for listening and sticking with us. And hopefully, like we said, just tell all your friends. Tell everybody about us. We're going to be on here. And me and Matt have talked about it a little bit. We're going to change it up. Matt, you want to, go in on this? Say what our plan is for the season. Yeah. Like what we're going to try to do.
You might not get crap like what it starts is it's waiver stuff, but you're gonna get some substance content. We feel like I look at the stats of these episodes like what people like the most, and like people wanted to hear the buy low shit last week from cousin Ian and Kraft more than they want to hear about who you picking up off the waiver wires. Like people might not want to hear that stuff too much from us, but we're gonna give y'all an episode of some substance every week. This week, panic button. Give you some Dynasty stuff. It ain't even got to be redraft all the time. And then I want to keep throwing some gambling out there when we can. Kraft, I know you like to gamble. Also, we all gamble and throwing our money down the drain. But how do you feel about that, Kraft?
We're going to try to encompass like waiver wire. Like we mentioned it today, but shit, instead of making a 30-minute episode of waiver wire, we mentioned it in 2 minutes? So... Right. Stuff like that, and we're gonna hit some start sits still when we get a chance. But like Matt said, we're just gonna, cut the shit, talk fantasy, talk about what's on everybody's minds when they watch the games, and when Fridays come around, weekends, we're gonna hit some gambling stuff, And the gambling really, I think I said it last gambling episode, it really encompasses start sits by itself. Because when you're talking about what players to pick, what good matchups you got. So we're going to try to get into that, maybe switch it up a little bit because, there's a lot of podcasts out there that do the waiver wires and everything. You're probably going to get that information from articles and everything like that. You don't need to come to us. We're going to switch it up. We're going to talk some shit that y'all ain't heard.
Right. See, Swizzy, anything to say to the folks out there?
Yeah, man. Make sure when you get in these leagues, you don't get into collusion ass. I'm just playing, but yeah. I mean, that stuff does need to be a bit better. Maybe we can look into putting the start sits and waiver wire pickups on YouTube and like 2 minute videos, and just covering those like that, doing them real quick, spouting them off. Or hell, I think a good idea would be doing the little reels. They got 15. They have like the 1 minute reels that you can do on YouTube, and you could literally just go out and list them out, list some stats, throw it on there, and that kind of stuff you want quick. Whereas the substance content, like I can see why people like that.
Yeah, people don't care about it. They just want to give them the answers real quick. Like, wow. I know some people be talking about that. But all right, then, fellas. Well, shoot, man. Thanks for listening. Like I said. With that said, we out.
Peace.